Hey, welcome. Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, YouTube. Happy Sunday, Facebook. How are you? I hope everyone is good. I had a 4-day weekend, everyone. A 4-day weekend. I am so thankful. I am so grateful, and I needed it. What did I do over this 4 days? I think I did a lot of sleeping, a lot of reconnecting and hanging with my family. And I also took a really big test. Yes, I finally took my GRE, which is the test for my application. Well, it's a test that I had to take towards my application for my doctorates. I am going back to school, y'all. I am applying. I'm going through the process right now. And I have been studying for that freaking test, and I took it on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and it was real. It was real. I'm like, it took me back to high school, some of the questions. I mean, I had been studying for it, so I knew what it was going to be about, but it was real. But I took it, and I did okay. I got my scores. I won't even disclose all of that, but I did okay. It's one of the many parts of the application. So that's what I did, and that was what my 4-day weekend was about. But yes, I did get rest, and I am so excited about that. Anyway, let's get into today's topic, which is the third and final installment of the customized parenting broadcast. And so I have been doing the customized parenting broadcast, and it's been based off of my experience with my children and how I customize it. Just to bring you up to speed, it's also it's a technique that we use in this classroom where you differentiate your teaching strategy, or you differentiate your teaching approach based on the students that are in your classroom. And so I just took it a step further and did customized parenting, right? So and I think that this is not new. Many people who have many children, probably do some version of doing different things according to who your children are. You do different things, right? I always think about my aunt who has 6, 7 children. And I know, just because they're adults now, when I speak to all of them, how much some of her techniques were differentiated and customized according to who those children were or are still. And they're adults now, but they talk about how, oh, she didn't treat this one like this and she didn't do this one like that, because my aunt knew that she had different children, and so she had to approach them differently. So with today's broadcast, I am talking about my 3-year-old, who will be 4 actually in 2 days. November 28th is her birthday, so she'll be 4. But regardless, customized parenting for her and what that is. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, which is a really key thing in customizing your parenting, that parents need to always realize and remember: do not compare your children to one another, especially not in their faces, but definitely, make it a habit to not compare them to one another, even when you're just speaking about them, or when you're referring to them, or when you're thinking about how to handle them with certain things, right? So every child, though they might show some similarities, they're also very different. And it's highly unlikely that even if your child shows the same thing that another child did, or does the same thing that another child did at one time, how you respond to it and how they respond to your response might be very different from one another. And so it's really important to make it very personalized to that child. And the way to avoid that is by not getting into the habit of comparing them. I bring that up because my baby girl, she is, like I said, 3, about to be 4. And when she turns 4, on that same exact day, her big brother will turn 15. So they were born on the same exact day, November 28th. And funny enough, they were both born on Thanksgiving Day. So 15 years ago, November 28th was Thanksgiving Day. And 4 years ago, November 28th was Thanksgiving Day. And so they were both born on that day. And so it makes it really easy to compare them because they were born on the same day. So of course not of course, but they do show similar characteristics and similar things that they do with one another. For those of you who are into the astrology and the signs and things, yes, they are both Sagittarius or Sagittarius. It doesn't really mean anything to me, but I just put that out there because there are those who are like, ooh, you have a Sag, that means whatever, and so they both are Sagittarius. They both are fire signs, and are they fiery? Yes, they are. But either way, so I really have to make a point of it to not compare them, though they do show some similar characteristics, because what I found is that they respond very differently. Just even their approach to how they approach the world and how they approach people and how they approach things and activities are very different from one another. So, I can't compare them like that. So when it comes to customizing parenting for my 3, almost 4-year-old, I think of certain goals. And the goals that I have for her right now in my approach for parenting are 3/4 things, but really 3 things. Building her confidence and independence, right? That's why I said it's like 4 things. So that's all in one. Confidence and independence. Learning who she is and teaching her the norms. Teaching her the expectations. Teaching her the things that are socially appropriate, that are behaviorally appropriate, So confidence and independence, learning who she is, and teaching her the norms and expectations. Those are the 3 things that I am really honed in on with my daughter. And so I'll break down a little bit of how that looks, what those goals look like, and as they are playing out in daily life, right? So teaching her confidence and independence, right? So she is a confident child. She shows confidence in certain situations, and I want to continue to promote that. My husband and I, we really want to continue to promote that. And so on a daily basis, things like little things, right? Things like allowing her to brush her own teeth, allowing her to make decisions, like pick out her clothing. So Saturdays and Sundays, anyone who has ever seen my child Monday through Friday go to school, she'll wear like certain things that I pick out. But Saturday and Sunday, I let her go to town. Like, she goes in her drawer, she picks out what she wants, and it's done very strategically that way. And I allow that because she needs to be able to make her own decisions and put her own things together. And so for any family members who are watching this and they've seen her on the weekend, I've had family members be like, what is she wearing? Because it might not match. And she will throw on like her favorite sparkle leggings with these red rain boots that she likes, and then throw on like a shirt with stripes on it, and she will be really happy. And we allow her to do that because we know that helps build some confidence. She picked out her own stuff, and when she comes out of her room with her clothing on, she's like, I picked this, and she's happy about that, and it makes her feel proud of herself. But now that she's in school, she comes home with different information for us, and look what I can do. And one of the things that I am really, really aware of and conscious of is letting her show me and teach me show me the things that she's learned, and me look surprised, or me look or I look very shocked or proud of her is one thing. But like, she'll show me something like, look at this letter that I made, and I go, oh my gosh, you know how to make that? What? I didn't know you know how to make a letter R. That was something she was working on today. And she's like, you didn't know that? Yeah, I did. And it makes her feel like she's showing me something new and fabulous, because for her it is new and fabulous, right? I've seen 1,000 letter R's, but not her letter R. And so, but when I react that way, that's a confidence builder, right? That makes her feel like I showed my mom something, and she even will show her brothers how to do something, or show one of us how to do something, and we'll react by saying, I didn't know how to do that. And she's like, you didn't? Well, let me show you, And so she becomes very confident in what she is sharing with us. Having her help out in the house and do things, right? So even though she's the baby in the house, she is the little one, she loves to help us cook. When her brothers are doing chores, she likes to find things for herself to do. And I'll tell her, like, I need you to sort all your clothing, like get out all the blue clothes, or get out all of your pajamas and pull them out the pile. Sometimes these are not even things that I really need done, like they're not, but for her to feel like she is a part of doing all the stuff that they're doing, that helps independence, and that will also build her confidence. And it does. It makes her feel like she goes in the room, she tells her brother, I cleaned my room, or I did such and such, and she feels very confident about herself in doing those things. So confidence and independence, that's really key right now for her at this age, and for me as her mom to bring that out of her. Learning who she is. So she has only been here on this earth for almost 4 years. And so I am learning how she navigates through things, right? So by exposing her to different things, that's one of the ways. So in her bookshelf right now, in her book collection, right? We read every night, and she has her book collection, and I'll let her choose some options. Like, so she'll pick out like 4 books, and I'll read the titles of them, and then she gets to pick which one we're going to read. And so I'm learning her pattern of what she's pulling out. And right now she's gravitating towards a lot of nonfiction books, and specifically actually encyclopedias. So we have a children's animal encyclopedia. It's about 550 pages. She picks that every night, and we have to pick out like 4. I have her pick like 3 or 4 pages that we're going to explore, because it's a lot of stuff in that encyclopedia. It's like it's thick, and it's all about animals. And so that's been her thing for the past 2 months. So it's making me realize that once she's into animals, she likes them, and she likes to learn about the facts about those animals. So that's what she's showing right now. A little before that, she was into Curious George books, and so, which is still animals. See, I'm learning the trend and putting it together even as I'm thinking about it right now. So she's showing me her trend, and when we're outside, I'm noticing that she'll be like, Mom, what kind of dog is that? What kind of dog is that? She's curious about that. She's, some children might walk down the street and they're like, what kind of car is that? Or look at that car, look at that train, look at that. And that child is a child who's into vehicles. I have a family member who the child is really, really into his trains and his cars. Like, that's his thing. And so I say, put them in front of more of that. Like, expose them to more about that. And of course, I have my things that I might have liked for her to be exposed to. There are certain parents who are like, oh, get the latest device or something, because they're going to need to be on top of technology and be really, savvy with that. True, they will. But because there are so many different types of ways that your child will show you their intelligence, I want to see where she guides me as far as her interest, and then I will kind of get in through there. You know what I mean? So if I want her to start picking up on some more technology things, then if I know she's into animals, then I'm going to get some animal technology stuff, because that might pique her interest, and she might gravitate more towards the technology because it has something else in it that she's into. So exposure to different things so that I can see what she likes. Once again, observation. I can't really stress that enough, because standing around and kind of just watching your child and how they navigate. Like, for example, when we have company over, I watch how she responds to them in her room, like when there are other children in her space. Um, I watch which children she is comfortable with sharing and which children she kind of is like, no, get away from my things. And then and then I speak to her about how we should handle those situations. But I'm seeing her patterns. I'm seeing how she responds in new situations, how she responds to new people, and that helps me to understand how to approach her when a new person is around, or how to bring a new person around her, or how to ease her into a situation. Case in point, where were we? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We were in a school. We were visiting a school because she's going to kindergarten in September. And we went into this new school. We met the head people of the school. It was like a director and an assistant director. And my daughter was so quiet. So quiet. Now she's not typically quiet, right? So she was quiet, and the point of this interview, this meeting at the school, was for the director and the assistant director to get a feel of who she is, and know if she's a good fit for the school or whatever. And so she was really quiet, and they were asking her questions that I know that she knows the answers to, and she was kind of doing one of those, like, really shy numbers. And I started thinking about it. She started like holding onto my leg. She wouldn't let me go, and that's not her typically. So I realized something. I did not do what I typically do, which is just let her know beforehand what we're walking into. I told her we were going to see a new school, but I didn't tell her that she's not staying there. Like, I didn't tell her that I'm not dropping her off. Like, I just said we're going to see this new school. So she didn't really know what to expect. And I started to put that two and two together, watching her be so clingy to me. So we went into the bathroom. She had to use the bathroom. And I took a moment to tell her that. And I said to her, what do you think about the school? And she was just kind of looking like, not so comfortable. So I said, listen, mommy and daddy are not leaving you here. And because my husband was with us, I said, we're not leaving you here. We're just looking around to see. I said, you go to your regular school. You don't, this school, you're not staying here. We're going to be with you the whole time. And when we leave, you're leaving with us. You're not being left here. And you could see the change in her face immediately. And when we walked out that bathroom, she started speaking to the people. Just like that instantly. They were kind of like, oh, well, hello. And we had been there for like 20 minutes. And she walked away from me to like walk down the hall with them. And they were showing her things, and she started asking them questions, and she started skipping down the hall. And they were just like, what happened? And it was me. It was my observation, recognizing what I hadn't done and quickly changing that so that I can get what they were looking for, but more so to get her comfortable. That was actually my main goal, not to impress them, not to whatever. If she's a fit for the school, she's a fit. If she's not, we keep moving. It doesn't matter to me. But it was about her comfort, and that's what it's always about for me with any of my children. So learning who she is. And then one of the other things that my goal with her is teaching her the norms, all right? So teaching her teaching her the expectations. Like I said earlier, what's socially appropriate, what's responsibly appropriate. Because when children are, this young, they don't necessarily know exactly how to respond in different environments, right? And how could they? Being here for 3 years or for 4 years is not a lot of time to really acquire how to behave in different settings. There are some adults that don't know how to behave in different settings. They act one way, and that's the way they behave across the board, every place that they go. That's not what this broadcast is about, but you know what I mean? This is what happens. And so she is learning to navigate, and it is my job and my husband's job to help her to realize that here we do this at home. You know, we might at home, you might, what do you might do? She might go in the refrigerator like she does sometimes. When she wants something to drink, she might just open the fridge and go inside of it, and she'll say, I want milk, and she'll pull out her milk. That's home behavior, right? That doesn't mean that when you go to someone else's house that you open the fridge and get your stuff out and do that. So I'm teaching her where things are acceptable to do things. The other thing that starts with teaching norms, or not starts, but goes hand in hand, is how to say certain things. So she is verbal. She's very verbal, and she's put those sentences together really well. And so sometimes the ways that she talks to her brothers when she's playing with them, like calling them names, because they'll call her names, and they'll do that sibling silliness stuff that they do. And sometimes when I go to do something, she'll try to say the same thing to me. So she'll be like, no, silly, and run away from me. And I have to tell her, like, no, not with mommy. You do that with your brothers. You do that with, when you're playing. But right now, I'm not playing. And so I need you to come to get in bed or whatever. Whatever it is that I need her to do. And I think that this is important. I want to really focus on this point for a second. A lot of times parents, adults period, break on a child who responds in that kind of way by quickly either scaring them or setting the record straight, like, who you talking to like that? Well, the reality is that they're talking to you, but the problem is that they don't recognize that they needed to switch it from who they might be used to talking to like that, or even they might have been able to speak to you like that an hour ago when you were playing with them, and now that you're not playing, when they go to speak to you like that, you flip on them, not realizing that they didn't realize that you've changed up your expectation at the moment. And so we have to be really careful. And and then parents, it kind of kills me when parents are like, they know better. Sometimes they do know better, but do you know better? Like, do you know that sometimes they don't realize that you needed to change up? You need to let them know, wait, we're not playing right now, or okay, that's enough, or no, don't say it like that. So I had posted on Instagram this past week, my daughter, when I picked her up from school, I said to her, how was your day? How was school? And she's like, it wasn't good because I didn't do the right things. I wasn't listening. And I said, you didn't do the right things. What did you do? She said, the wrong things. And I laughed because I was just like, that is what you did. This is true. Whereas some parents might have been like, I know you did the wrong things, but that's not what I'm asking you. Like whatever it is. Or they might feel like that was a smart or a fresh or whatever kind of answer. And I'm like, no, it was an actual very literal answer. Children this age are very literal. So if you say, what did you do? And she knows that she didn't do the right things, then guess what? I consider her kind of smart to realize the opposite was the wrong things. And it wasn't smart in the sense of she was being rude. But we have to be careful to not snap at them for being very literal. And so, these are all part of me teaching her the things to say, and the not like that, or can you say it a little differently, and then actually modeling what that different is. Mom, she'll scream like, Mom, I want milk, and I say, Mom, may I have milk, please? And that's just my response to her, so that she can respond back, like not breaking, like, who are you speaking to like that? Like, you say please, or you say whatever, or you're not getting anything until you say please. Like, give her the words, feed her the words, so that she can actually parrot them back and realize that that's the way to say them. And so, yeah, like I said, 3/4 years old. She'll be 4 in 2 days. So confidence and independence, learning who she is, teaching her the norms, that is where I'm at right now with my little one. That is our focus, and it will change. It's going to change as I learn who she is and have to do something different for her or introduce new things for her. As she learns the norms and stuff, it's going to change because she's going to be in different environments where there's different expectations, and so I'll have to teach her those things once she gets into the upper grades and exposure to different things. Okay. But either way, that concludes this series, this 3-part series. I am so excited about it, and I am even more excited about things to come. I can't wait to talk with you all. Actually, next week, I want to, just giving you a little foreshadowing, someone sent me a really cool article. I'm going to post it actually on Facebook sometime this week, but they sent me a really cool article about child development, and I am really looking forward to sharing it with you all. And so I want to talk a little bit about that next week, and there's a lot more to come. All right, have a great one. Enjoy your week. That's about it. Take care. Bye-bye.